All right. Testing, testing. One, two, three, four. All right. Testing, testing. Testing, testing. There we go. There we go. All right. We are in day 507 of The Journey Begins. We are over in Inkwood. We are going to work on a ravine today. All right, so let's get started. What are we? Okay. Going. You should see chat. We are streaming on TikTok, Twitch, and YouTube. We are trying to get to trying to get to 300 followers on TikTok, and we're trying to make affiliate on Twitch. So if you like these story-driven, low-key kind of streams, feel free to stick around. And if you really like it, feel free to share. Our streamer in the other ear at the moment is Kyle Hill, who I believe is streaming on Twitch and YouTube, playing StarCraft 2, I think, actually. And we are, of course, doing Minecraft. Inkwood is going to be part of the story that we're trying to tell in our novel that we're trying to write. So we're trying to get enough framed out of what's immediately in the novel, and then we'll fill in other details later so we could populate other stories maybe in the future, or just give something for other people to use in their own stories. Because the end of the month end of month, early July, we'll be doing a world backup, and that will be available on GitLab. So you can download the world and do whatever you like with it from there. If you do download it and find it useful, feel free to let me know in chat sometime. I don't know if it will be useful, but I thought it would be a nice thing to do. And I'm sure there are worlds out there, and then you can do seed generators, and you could do creative and whatnot, but this is a Bedrock survival. So if you want some of the work done without doing a creative world, then here you go. Didn't lose any tree. Hopefully not. And we're using ground control and restream to monitor chat. Both the standalone apps and then the plugin for OBS that we can see TikTok. All right. Yep. ground control just finished updating, so we're stream instead of during, but it doesn't look like we lost anything, so that's good. And we are using Tokyo Dawn again today. And at least so far, our amount of dropped frames doesn't seem to be too high. Although we may have spoke too soon, but we'll see. The FPS looks like it's holding between mostly 60 with a few drops to 40. So hopefully the stream doesn't dip below that. Okay. All right, so yeah, we'll dig down here a little bit, give ourselves a little bit more room. To work with here. All right, we'll work our way down. You have your own realm, Katmar? I don't know what it is. Can you tell me a little bit about it? But thank you for joining this stream, by the way. Survival realm. Interesting. I don't know. Not that I wouldn't want to try other realms, but I'm fairly busy building out this story. And limited on time, and no realms are limited in the number of seats. If it's a flexible seat, maybe once I get a little bit more of the story done, I would consider playing for a little while. But I want to be mindful not to take somebody's spot that would be more active. Because I stream every day on this realm for at least an hour, and then I probably do an hour or sometimes 2 off stream doing some of the additional grindy work. Because this is also a survival, so. And we have some rather large, well, we have a very large project in each of the dimensions. And then we have a number of medium and fairly large projects as well going on. But out of curiosity, is there a theme to your own? Okay, so let's get rid of that. Let's even this off. Oh, we're probably out of inventory, it looks like, so we're gonna have to drop off some stuff. Can we get any of this out? Okay. What can we take with us? Nothing. Okay. All right, so we can put... Ooh. Let's do that, and then let's do some torch. Pick up all of this stuff. All right, so we'll go here. Okay, I think we're good there. Okay. I think we'll spend a little bit more time here, clearing out this little bit of stone here. And then if we see any mobs, then we'll fly out. But we get at least one night before the phantoms come in, so try to take advantage of that. All right. All right. There we go. All right. Let's go through. Oop. Or did we fall? Yeah, we fell in a hole. All right. All right, there we go. There we go. So let's... Oop. Okay. Yep. We'll just keep doing back and forth. Clearing out this, and eventually we'll get all this done. All right, all right. But we have to be careful, though, here, so we don't fall down anywhere. Okay. All right. Ooh, do we have any spots in here? We do. So that means we can... Oop. Let's keep our gravel on us just in case. There we go. There we go. Yep, we gotta fill in the spot. Okay. Nice. Yeah, I like, well, I prefer, yeah, survival realms as well. You can follow, send me a direct message or something, and I'll consider it. I mean, my primary focus is building the story here, but I may pop in. Um, oh, thanks, Zip. Right. Oh, can we drop off stuff? I think we need to drop off some metal. That works. Do you have any particular builds going on, Cat? Oop, did I crash? Crashed a little too hard there. All right. I would join some Discord communities of some of the larger Minecraft streams and seeing if they have promote yourself sections. And then checking with the moderators there to see if it's okay to request people to join. And you'll find some good people that way, I think. I think it takes a while and you might have to subscribe, but I think like Prowl and Silent Whisper have some of those sections. So you have to earn like a spot up so that they can keep down the spam. But once you get to a point where you're allowed to promote, I think you'll find good people there. But yeah, I think Discord on some of the bigger Minecraft servers, particularly the ones that have you kind of earn a spot to promote yourself, are good, because then you'll likely get, like you said, nice people to join as well. So more likely to have people that you'll get along with and can have fun building with. Because I would imagine the last thing you want is a random person coming in and not contributing or taking down people's builds. Because I know a few streamers have patron servers that requires people to be around and contribute to the community, and then they have access to those realms. Those tend to be Java players, but there's probably a few Bedrock players out there as well that have those kind of realms versus servers, I guess. It would probably be a bit more work because you'd probably want to vet a little bit more, but you could also make, YouTube videos showcasing the realm. And then have like a link to like a Google form or something for people to apply to join. And then have people show the kind of work that they are working on, so you have a feel of what they might contribute to your realm. All right. I'm making pretty good progress here. Where are we at? 20 minutes? Okay. Alright. And if you stream as well, Kat, you know, feel free to let me know and I'll definitely check it out and try to support by watching. Alright, so let's... There we go. 30. Where can we go? Can we get down to 20? 20 might be a little bit aggressive, but let's see if we can get down to 20. All right. In a few minutes per level. Yeah. 20 is still probably aggressive. I think maybe 25 is probably a little bit more doable. Welcome in, Taco. Alright, so yeah, let's do a little back and forth here. I think this is going to look really nice once we get all this ravine taken down to bedrock. It'll be nice and deep. We can build some stuff underneath if we want to. Add a little mystique to Inkwood. We do need to start building out the library more. So we need to start getting that tunnel safe through the nether. So we have a controlled tunnel that goes from here to where we're building the library. So we're going to need to work on that soon too. That'll give us that to work on, and then we'll need to work on Oasis City. So we'll need a tunnel for that as well. I think this phase will be the ravine and the tunnel. And then the next phase will be the desert stuff. So getting the tunnel for that. The tunnel for the desert will be a lot easier because we only need to go to the gold temple. Then we can do a road from the gold temple to Oasis City, and then have Oasis City cut back to the garden temple. And then from there we can go over to Barter's Bay. And then we'll go to probably Ashfern Forest and a Sunken City or Dark City, something along those lines. Haven't really thought what we're going to call that city yet, but I think that'll be enough to get our story to where we want it to be, at least for the first book. Hey Jay, how's it going? How's the Thursday? Any Minecraft projects you're working on? Yeah, I am doing good. We are making pretty good progress on our ravine project here. We're trying to get chapter 17 of the novel we're working on outlined, so planning on working on that after this. Oh, right. Oh, the redstone computer. I think you mentioned that earlier. How's the progress on that coming? And are you doing the full like memory component and CPU aspect of it, or more of a aesthetic kind of screen side of the computer? I think something like the Lego has like a Mario TV set that actually kind of moves as you has like a crank on it, so as you move it, Mario jumps around. It's kind of interesting for a Lego set. Oh, oh, full out like computer engineering side, nice. Wow, RAM, ROM, ALU. That's going to be an impressive build. I imagine fairly large too to get all of that working. How much like RAM and ROM are you integrating into it or building into it, I guess? Let's drop off some more iron here and some more coal. There we go. Grab that. Do we have any space in here? Yeah, we can drop off a bunch of coal there. Okay, good. I think that's pretty good. Okay, there we go. Yeah, whenever you have something to share on that, Jay, feel free to let me know. I think you should be able to share links on TikTok, but if not, yeah, let me know and I'll make sure you're able to do that. And yeah, there we go. Okay. Wow. 7 gigs of RAM in Minecraft. That has to be a pretty massive build in of itself just for the memory. Go grab that. Okay. Even with mods, I bet that's still a good size and be impressive nevertheless. There we go. I went to the MIT museum once and saw one of the early just overlapping wire rams. That was kind of interesting to see how far we come from that to like, was it DDR6 now? And then some of the old metal platters to the to like the NAND gate storage now. So our plan for the ravine, as we don't get, oop, oop. Let's land up here without crashing. Oh, I guess we'll just take the stairs. Anyway, while we do that, the plan is we're going to have the ravine on 3 sides, a lake feature around back, and part of that is the bridge that we're going to have come in. We want it to be the only access point on one side. So this would be better. So this road here will expand and make it wide enough for like a caravan. It will come across to where this placeholder for the bridge is. So we'll bring that all the way across to make that look like an appropriate bridge for this kind of place. We'll take out the stairs here and we're bringing all this down as well. So this way it makes this a really prominent entrance for the story. And it would be time consuming to go across this area here because we're going to bump the height up here and make the forest dense. And then the same thing over here, making this too dense to go through. So it's out of render distance here, but in this direction would be where Overmorrow is. So coming through all of this, we would come through this path, and then as we're coming out of the woods, you'd see Inkwood, see the ravine, and the bridge, and it would be the main access point. And then the caravan trail would go off to the... Is that? I think that's the north. No, it's the south side. And wait, west, yeah, south. And then there'd be a little trail here, but this wouldn't be a normal caravan trail. It'd be more of a like walking path. And then this goes to, it's kind of the shortcut to the garden temple, which is our bedrock to build height build that we have in the desert a few 100 blocks that way. Oh, about 1,000 blocks that way. So that's why we're working on the ravine here, to give that a little bit more prominence. So in a nutshell, we have, I guess, 2 forces. So, oh, thank you, Arcade, for the follow. So we have the builder, who is, I guess, who we're kind of playing now, who's building the world, building all these structures, and the ancient structures are created by this figure, but kind of lost to time. The other force is we call the void for now. So think of the end, so a creature that wants to, or an entity that wants to create more of that. Basically turn everything into the end. And then our main character is kind of stumbles across, I would call it a relic, compass, something like that, that leads them to learn more about this story, the builder, the void, and trying to not so much save the world, but at least keep things in their current state, keep things from slipping. So leaning into a cozy fantasy, I guess, would be the best description I can come up with. And so along the way, they're going from Overmorrow to Inkwood, and in Inkwood here, it's a small town, but we'll have a portal in it. Yeah, so I'm trying to write a novel with writing not being my background, but something I wanted to check off my bucket list. So I'd like to make it a trilogy, but we're starting off with a book. The first book is inspired by the overworld, I guess, or will be built in the overworld. If there's enough interest, then the idea is to have a second book, but everything is built in the end, and then a third that goes, or second book would be in the nether, the third book would be in the end, and then tie back to the overworld. are tied back to everything that we're building in the overworld. So that's at least the plan. So it's a little ambitious, so we'll see how far we can get. But we have up through chapter 16 outlined with a kind of framework of 40 chapters. We're trying to stick to that. For the book, I don't have a name for the book itself. For now, the working title is just The 10 Realms. And part of the reason for that is it's a 10-realm Minecraft server, and at Overmorrow we divide the southern half into 10 realms. And nothing is built in the northern half of the world. So every 18 degrees off of 00 at Overmorrow is a different realm. So if we have the potential that we could tell different legends or different stories in other realms. So I wanted to do an area that was kind of preserving all of the like Minecraft generation, like leaving it pristine. So in any of the early generation kind of flukes are preserved in the south, but there's nothing built in the north, just to have it like a pristine area and maybe work that into the story somehow. So I can explore in the north, but I'm trying not to build anything in the north. And there's another project I have, well, starting at Overmorrow. We just call it the Horizon Wall for now, so it will be a perpetual evergreen project that will just expand, well, perpetually east and west. Yeah. And then we can hide farms and stuff inside that wall, but then it will be part of the story of adding, you know, what's to the north. Because I'll have to explain how naturally generated structures are up there, but I'm not building anything myself. And probably also tied into one of those things that, you know, part of the builder figure lore. Why was the wall built? Why is there nothing in the north? Something we can kind of explain through the story, or ponder through the story. I don't know that it would want to fully explain it, but I think it would add a little mystery, I guess. And yep, yeah. Ooh, probably grab some fish and sleep now. Do we have any space to drop this off? And then we have some other characters like so we made our AFK account character and our spirit account character as well. So we play on this realm with 3 accounts. So this primary account here are our, you know, hero builder account. The AFK account is just that, just an account we can log into and leave at our, you know, iron gold farm, wherever we need to gather resources. And then our spirit account is one where we just give it a stack of stone or whatever we need placed somewhere dangerous, like in the nether. And then when we fall in, it's not a big deal. We don't lose much, and we just keep putting block by block down until we get the task done. So those will both be characters in the book as well that help uh, our protagonist have, you know, perspective of helping and helping them get out of their own way and start being part of the story. So I'm hoping I can speed things up, but at the rate I'm going, I'm hoping to have that in a shareable state by the end of the year. Because going along with that, we also want to do a kind of journal from the builder's perspective. We have one entry for that, but I want to get a few more so that we can maybe update that once a month or so and kind of have this journal as well. Oh, I have a few people that I know in person that might want to do something in the future, but I don't know how much time they'll have anytime soon, so it's mostly just me. Well, for now it is all just me, but if they ever have time, then potentially they could help. Oh, let's wrap this off. And, oh. But another piece of it is I kind of want to go slow so I can kind of let this story percolate as I go, and so I can get more more community involvement as well, like just talking about the story, letting it kind of brainstorm out loud and see if parts of it are interesting or not as we get a little bit more developed. Once I start actually writing the chapters and get past the outline, I'll probably share a little bit more. And as we're working on places like Inkwood here, and when we get to Oasis City, you know, I can explain a little bit more of the story there, and then anyone that wants to kind of be part of the streams will have a little heads up. So some of the problems in the story, so since it's a little bit more on the cozy side, it's trying to find a good line of things that go wrong, and the stakes being high but not too high. So the void is more of a force than a something with its own desires. It just kind of blindly consumes. But then I have a void bringer, so a person or a group that want to kind of release this entity. Oh yes, yeah. As far as Inkwood goes, yeah, that is part of the story that that after crossing the bridge, some kind of fantasy creatures that like pufferfish, but actual explosions get released and cause the bridge to collapse. So kind of forces the characters to go out the back of Inkwood after they've gone to the library and learned a little bit more about what's going on, but also introduce more questions than answers so that it kind of forces, but it makes it hard to resist not moving forward. But yeah, the bridge collapsing here, I mean, it will be a solid bridge as far as the Minecraft world goes, but in the story it will collapse, and that's another reason for the ravine, is that it can't be something that's so easy to repair that the next day they can just cross the bridge back and take the caravan road. So the novel I've been working on since maybe like late March, but the world I've been working on for probably a little over 5 years. It was just a little haphazard, building a little bit here and there. But within the last maybe 3 years, I thought about doing something with it. And within the last 2, thinking about how can I turn it into some kind of story, what do I need to build, and then as I've been outlining the story, I've been using that to focus in the ideas that I had and make it a little more cohesive and intentional. Oh, hello, karaoke. So I would say, yeah, since March, it's when things have really been starting to come together and not just building random stuff. I mean, we've been streaming for a while, but it was just kind of, let's build something here, let's build something there. Now we're building more with purpose, and how do we connect the builds? Not just in the story, but connecting them in Minecraft, so that if anyone downloads the world, you could more or less follow the story. There's kind of, so there'd be Overmorrow is the city at spawn, and that's it's like 513 diameter half circle. And so I guess that's effectively the main city. It's the starting city anyway. Inkwood is more just a smaller place and just a piece of the store. Well, at least the library, which will be a really large build. There's Barter's Bay, which would be another larger city. So there will be a library, or there'll be a small, like local town library in Overmorrow. Inkwood is going to have a really, really large library, like somewhere between 500 and 750 blocks squared at least. And the premise, well, that. And the message there is kind of like not judging a place by its cover. So the library of Inkwood would actually be larger than Inkwood City or Inkwood Town. But there's another portal that will take us through a controlled tunnel in another to roughly 15,000 blocks diagonal, and which is in the middle of the ocean. And so we'll have a foundation there for what will be our library, and that way it won't be stumbled upon from land, and from the edges you won't be able to see land, and vice versa. So it'll effectively be like its own little place. We have that foundation going, we just don't have it done yet. So that's why we haven't visited it on stream yet. So it'd be another large build. All right. And come on. Okay. Let's drop off some stuff again. Oop. Let's take that back. Guess we can drop that off. We don't need the ender pearl. Okay, that's good. Yeah, so the library and the bridge are gonna be two of the key parts here. Because when the bridge fails, that it kind of forced them to go to, well, allow them to wander about and make their way into this area is going to be more like decorated, more of a symbolic place, and so we'll have like a well here, you know, kind of a well of knowledge, and then our portal down there is what we will take to the library. So the city here will look small, but we'll have a big library. Not a really an established religion. We'll have a group called the Collectors, at least for now. That'll be part of the group that is behind the Voidbringer cause, so wanting to bring the Void back. But not an actual like organized religion. I refer to the Void and the Builder as kind of deity-esque sometimes, but they're not actually part of any particular religion in world. If the story really needs it, I could, you know, lean it that way, but for now they're not really part of that. I mean, I might have different villages have different belief systems, at least on the surface. Barter's Bay will be our coastal city. And then there's also the Garden Temple, which is part on land and part in the ocean. Just because it's a bedrock to build height build, so it's so massive that it actually have to drain part of the ocean to get it built. Which, I guess we're getting close to the end of stream, so we could actually go visit that, I guess. You have enough rockets? Yeah, we've got enough rockets. Yeah. Yeah, we're close enough to our stream time goal, so we'll go visit the Garden Temple and Barter's Bay. And yeah. Follow our road. Alright, so the Garden Temple should be coming into render distance here pretty soon. Yeah, there we go. So these are the steps, and it's going to go down to bedrock. so we can see how large this build is. Somewhere over here is going to be Barter's Bay. Is going to come into view. Yeah, each dimension has a lower level project. So the pyramid there is our okay. Maybe it's not that side. So yeah, the pyramid is our there it is. There's Barter's Bay. Yeah, so these lanes here are so that we can use our sponges and flying machines to clear out the ocean. But back to the lower level project. The pyramid is the one for the overworld. We have Haven's End, which is a 1,000 by 1,000 area in the Nether that we'll build, and then we're looking at something of a similar size, doing currently like a Dyson's ring in the end, but we might turn that into a Dyson ring, but then have like having it actually be a generator of land in the end. So expanding out from the Dyson ring to have solid land and not the void. But I don't know how far I want to take that project. But that's one of these kind of projects in each dimension. But this is our coastal city of Barter's Bay. We'll fly over here. So we have like a mud building, what's going to be a furnace area, Venturers Guild. This building here is our Stone Masons Guild. This is our Farmers Market. So we have a farmer in there generating wheat for us. This is our bone meal farm, and then the other side has a big cave coming out the other side. So thinking about doing some kind of smuggler ship that comes out of here. And then behind our waterfall, we have our Cleric's Guild. Right, so and our clerics are, where are they at? They're through here? Yeah. So down this trail, this center column is going to be at least cladded in the amethyst. And then at the bottom, there's like a cleric research area. So studying zombies, whatever else we want to put down there, like making it look more like a lab, I guess. Best way to describe it. Let's not go out that way. Oh. Okay. And I think we might have to tweak it, but right now if we stand at the edge of the city, or well, the edge of our, this isn't really a city down here. This is kind of, this village just generated on its own, which is why we kept it. We kind of wanted to preserve some of those oddities. So we're turning this into the harbor. Or part of the dock, part of the harbor. But when we get close to there, oh, it's almost like a button, I guess. When we stand in this spot, we can get the smoke to go off. It's just within render distance. And this is kind of what we want to do with the ravine as well. We want to take it all the way down to bedrock, but then we want to have a height where we can have the smoke be visible from the top. So we'll have to have a few outcroppings that we can put some of the campfires and maybe some cobweb kind of stuff on, so we can give that misty look in a few spots. Which also reminds me, we need to finish getting our world tour cut, because our world tour is about 2 hours, and we're trying to get that cut down to one big world tour video within like 45 minutes or so or less, and then cut down each of the projects into their own video as well, so that we can share those out as well. This area was just our forestry area that I think we're just kind of leaving this over here. It's not really like a city, but just a little work area that will somehow work into it. All of this is all of the cobblestone here is gonna come down. Originally, we were just gonna build a tower here over the ocean monument, which is under here. But I like the idea of this step pyramid here more, so we're just going to take all of that down and then do more of a gardens theme with the temple here. What else can we show? I guess we can go over to the ocean monument, and then we can end in our mining tunnels before we head out. Whoa. So this is our, ocean monument guardian farm. Not efficient by any means. Since we're on bedrock, we could have calculated where all of the guardians are going to come in and had them teleport away and taking care of them in the nether, but thought this was more fun to watch. And we still need to kind of decorate all this up. So we're intentionally not doing all the projects to completion right away. We're just trying to get everything framed out so that we can work on what we want. But if anyone is interested in one project more than another, we can work on what the consensus is. But the other thing I'll show a little of here is these tunnels are about 10 by 10 by 100. And right now they go about 3/4 of the way down of the length of the garden temple above us. So there's like between 20 and 25 of these tunnels now that we use to get the stone for Haven's End, which has probably 800 plus slabs laid so far. So we still have another 200,000 or so to go, but making a lot of progress there. So we'll show that another stream, or you can check out the world tour on YouTube now. We did a run around of that. It takes between 5 and 10 minutes to run around the perimeter. So yeah, it's that. So what do we want to do? Actually, maybe we could run through a little bit of it. Oh. we can put our Elytra away since we're going through the Nether. And we'll just end our stream in Overmorrow. Alright, so this is just our base, I guess you would call it, here in the Nether. This is where we first entered the Nether, back from the Garden Temple. So there's another portal underneath the center of the pyramid. So they're linked. Both overworld portals teleport to the one we just came through. But anytime you go through the one on the Nether side, it takes you to yeah, I definitely have some plans of more buildings and farms and story elements that won't be part of the main story that you can explore and add a little bit more depth to the story. Things that won't be in the book, but you could read and see more of the daily life of characters. And then there's a few little bed buildings. So when I was playing early on, just a small building with a bed next to where we collected frog lights and things like that. So you'll see these kind of hermit builds, I guess I would describe them. And there's probably actually a handful of those in the north before we decided not to build anything there, but there's nothing substantial there. So there's little things like that, little dripstone caves where you can tell that I was before, which I have since forgotten about, but I want to intentionally put some secret things, some kind of Easter eggs and things like that into the world for people to discover. But kind of the characters that are unmentioned in the book, and even some that are mentioned in passing, like a baker you might run across in the story that doesn't really have a name. Having them be someone you can run across and visit their shop and see that they have their own little kind of mini story in the world that you could explore. Because even once the first book is done, and even once the trilogy is done, I still plan on building in the world. Whether I continue on that story or go to one of the other realms, I still plan on continuing building in this world and adding to it. So like a perpetual story, and seeing what else I can create and kind of get out of it. And seeing what other people might do with it as well as I build, and people can take the download of the world, and seeing what other people add to it. Did we go through all of our rockets? Oh no, we still got 10 left, so I think we'll go. This structure here is kind of the outline of our horizon wall. And then this is just the outline of one of our gate towers. So everything on the wall is going to be some shade of white. And the two towers represent the different heights of the Minecraft build heights. So the first one over on the east side is 256, and the one on the west side is 320, so the new build height. So there'll be little Easter eggs like that I want to have in where we make reference to some of the Minecraft mechanics. In the book, they're not going to have specific heights like that, but in the game it will. Okay. Oh. I completely forgot about that. Oop. Trying to fly with just my leather armor. There we go. And all right, is this? Yeah, we can do that. So yeah, so this is horizon wall. This is the only thing actually that I guess technically we have this built in the north, but this is just going to be a bridge into the north, and it actually ends like just after the horizon or the render distance there. But the idea is that the walls here are going to be decorated in these torches, but we're going to do it more intentionally later, and each torch represents somebody who went off to explore the north. Not so much that they didn't come back, but that they went off to the north. And then here, yeah, this is Overmorrow, so I think this would effectively be the main city so far. At least where everything starts. So we don't have anything really completed. The closest thing is our creeper farm here. So it functionally generates the TNT for us because we need a lot of TNT to clear out the netherrack and the nether. And we have a functioning bamboo farm. Over here we have a functioning string farm. We just don't have the building around it. And our iron farm is functioning. But you can see where we're plotting out some of the buildings so we can get a feel for how dense the city is. Because we want it to feel kind of lived in, but not too planned. Like easy to get around, but yeah, not too dense. And it's this center, so all of the realms, so yeah, every 18 degrees is a new realm. So Overmorrow is kind of the trading hub at the world's end, effectively. Yeah, I've thought about that. I don't know how easy that is to do on Bedrock. But another one of our goals is also to go slow. So making the streams slow and the building intentionally slow, and trying to encourage taking things one step at a time. So we'll do some things faster when we can and when we're able to. Yeah, this is Bedrock. And I mean, I have a lot of TNT, so I could do a lot of it with that. And we have a few shafts that go down to Bedrock, but yeah. Yeah, not a lot of easy ways. I thought about maybe doing some moss mining instead of what we're doing, but we need a lot of stone, so I kind of like taking the slow approach and the one block at a time kind of thing. Yeah, so we can take time to adjust it, think of the story, get involvement. Yeah. Yeah, because I don't know I know they're trying to do parity with Bedrock and Java, so I don't know if something like that would come. Because I think there was some changes to Redstone on Java. I don't know if it fully put it in line with Bedrock, but I know it seemed like it was taking away some of the features that Java players liked. I don't know if that actually made it into any final version or if it was just a test though. But at some point, if they're going for parity, they have to make a choice which way they go. Although, personally, I think they could probably implement both on both and make it more of a toggle. Granted, it would be, more development work, but I don't think it's impossible. Well, I'm just kind of wandering around now. I should probably just find a spot to park. Okay. My tools need mending, but I'll do that off stream. I don't think there's anything else I need. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty good. We'll work our way towards our zombie experience farm over here while we kind of wind things down. Alright, so yeah, this tunnel goes over to the park, over to the left when we were looking down. This is part of our smuggler tunnels under the city, so we can get to some of the farms that are buried that way. Way to explain that. But what are we at? Oh, an hour and 20 minutes. So I think we've hit our goal. We might do a little bit longer tomorrow. We'll see. But yeah, thank you, Kat and Jay, for joining in. And yeah, feel free to ask all the questions you want if you make it back into a stream, Jay. Happy to talk more about the story. It's actually what we're hoping to do. And thank you for everyone on Twitch as well. Yeah, thank you for being part of day 507. If you want to check out more of what we're doing, you can check us out on Linktree to linktr.ee/mindtripmedia. That will have links to the VODs for this over on YouTube, along with our mostly Lego Build YouTube channel, our Blue Sky, Pinterest, TikTok, Twitch. All of our online stuff is there. If you want to get updates on when we go live and any other projects we're working on, you can check it out there. And tomorrow we'll be working on the ravine more, trying to get that dug down. And yeah, probably be spending all day doing that. So we'll see you tomorrow when the journey continues. So yep, thank you everyone for joining, and thanks again, Jay, for the chat. Take care and have a good rest of your Thursday.